Hi everybody, welcome to Ohio weather. It's snowing, so we're not going to be out riding today. Hope you guys don't mind. I'm still going to show some stock footage. I'll just do some voiceover and chatting with you. Then we're going to head to the kitchen and make a really great meal. Can't wait to show you what we're making. Check it out. Hi everybody, welcome back to Bike to Table, the channel where we go for a little ride and enjoy everything about the road and riding. And then we head to my kitchen and make a great meal that's easy, fun, and delicious. My name is John. I'm here in Northeast Ohio, and as you saw in the intro, winter has arrived. Yes. Oh my gosh, it arrived so bad overnight. There was a storm that we ended up getting about 8 inches of snow where I live. The plows were out all day, and they still couldn't keep up with things. It was coming down so hard. There was this heavy overnight sleet and slushy snow that made morning rush hour really bad, really bad. The news reports were all about accidents, whether they were on the highway, off on the side streets, or wherever. I know you'll understand that I'm not going riding in this video, so thank you. Instead, I chose to do a little voiceover with some of the old footage that I have. You may or may not have seen from when the roads were nice and clear and the weather was bright and sunny. We get to talk about whatever you want. I've been asked a couple questions from my subscribers from here on YouTube and on Facebook, so I figured this might be a good opportunity to answer some of those. The first one, what bike do I ride and what have I done to it? Currently, I ride a Harley-Davidson 2011 Road Glide Custom. It has a 103 engine. The first thing I did, literally, while I was signing the paperwork, I was having the tech people in the back put on one of those tall touring windscreens. I had them put that on. Now, I'm a taller guy. I'm about 6'3", and most of it's in my torso, so it just made sense for my height to have that taller windscreen. Also, it made sense because when my brother and I rode over to the west side of Cleveland to buy the bike, I was dropping off mine for the trade-in. There was a big storm that was rolling through Cleveland at the time, and we had to ride back through it to get back home. So it made sense to have that also. I did the Daymaker headlights. I changed the turn signals on all four corners. I added underbag rear lights to brighten things up back there. I changed the head pipes out. I changed my slip-ons, or RCX exhaust. I also did a Screaming Eagle intake and added a power commander. And I had a dyno tuned up so that way it's running really nice and efficient. Now, it's not a tire shredder. It's not going to, leave smoke trails off the tires at the stoplights, but it gets me down the road just fine. As you've probably heard and seen in almost all my videos, I just love the sound of the bike. I love ripping it, and it really wakes it up. Now, I don't have the window rattler shaking exhaust, so I can leave my neighborhood peacefully. But when I want to, I roll on that throttle, and I really like that sound. Now, the audio, I switched that out to a Rockford Fosgate amp. Threw on some J&M speakers on there. That works great for me going down the highway. Most recently, I changed the seat cover from the stock black to a black and gray snakeskin pattern. And I also put on a set of 13-inch Wild One Outlaw apes. Next is, does my wife ride? Yes, she does. She currently rides a 2010 Softail Deluxe. It has the special paint for that year, which was a white ice, black ice pearl, I think is what they called it. Now, it came with a bunch of upgrades since we bought it used already. The intake, the exhaust. We were down at the tail of the Dragon, and she saw another Softail that had hard bags on it. So she just thought that was just amazing. So what I ended up doing is I lucked out. I found a set of matching paint bags off of a 2010 Street Glide. So I bought those really quick. They were $230. They were in perfect condition. With those, we added a set of CycleVision's bagger tail kit. So it looks like a Road King from that time, but it's actually a Softail, so it has that little bit lower stance, so she can stay flat-footed on the ground, no problems, and she loves that bike. It's great for her. Next is, where have I ridden to? I have ridden around quite a bit over the last, oh wow, how long have I been riding? For almost 20 years. Wow. So yeah, I've ridden around the perimeter of Ohio. I've also ridden to Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin. Went down south towards Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama. Headed out east to West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and also New York. So that's all the states that I've covered. We have some plans in next year that hopefully we're going to be getting in a couple more states. What's my favorite ride? Well, I'm assuming that you mean like where do I go? What's the favorite place that I go? Well, my wife and I usually take an annual trip down to the Tail of the Dragon. That's in Tennessee, North Carolina area. Now, I love riding the Smokies, so I'll just say overall the Smoky Mountains. It's just amazing down there. Just getting up in the morning, there's that cooler air that's still there. The fog's rolling down the mountains. The lakes are like mirrors in the morning time. It's just beautiful. You head out for the day, and you just go out for hours. There's literally no road that has disappointed me down there. I always find something amazing to see as we're going through the countryside and up and down the mountains. So that let's cut it there because I know we want to get to the kitchen. I've been yapping here for a couple minutes, so let's get to the kitchen. Now we're going to be making some tortilla crusted Cuban chicken. My take on some Cuban rice. We're going to make a little bit of a citrusy coleslaw. Now you've seen me make that before. But in this, I changed it just a little bit so it blends really well with the rice and the chicken, and it's just there for that nice, cool refresher while you're eating your meal. So hope you get to watch that part that's coming up next. Let's get there. Hi everybody, welcome back to the kitchen. What are we making today? Again, we are going to be making some tortilla crusted Cuban chicken with some Cuban rice and some wonderful citrus slaw. It's going to be wonderful. Can't wait to show you how to cook it. Let's check out what we bought at the store. Alright, so we ended up getting a couple of chicken breasts. We got some fresh cilantro. We cheated a little bit and got a steam bag of rice. We have one of the lime juice containers because their limes just did not look good at the store today. We had in the pantry already some salsa and some sour cream. We bought some slaw mix, and then of course we have a couple of seasonings to make that Cuban flavor. We have the garlic salt, a little bit of parsley, some cumin. We have about a tablespoon of mayonnaise, some black beans, and some tortilla chips that we're going to crush up and make that crust. Little funny story about the cumin. The reason why I have it labeled with the word cumin on it is because one morning I was out of cinnamon sugar for my toast. So what did I do? I reached right into the spice rack, grabbed something that apparently looked a little bit like cinnamon, mixed it up with cinnamon sugar, so I had cumin sugar on my toast that day. Disgusting. It was horrible. So yeah, so I cheated and I put a little word cumin right up on the top of my seasoning jar. Let's get cooking, guys. Time to season the chicken. We've already patted dry the chicken, so then add just a little bit of salt and pepper to start off with. To create the Cuban flavor, we'll get some garlic salt. Add that in a little bit. Add in the cumin. Remember, not cinnamon, cumin. That goes sprinkles on there nicely. And a little bit of parsley. So that's what it's going to look like. You're going to want to do that to both sides of the chicken before you put it in the pan. You want to preheat the oven at 425, and the pan on top of the stove you'll put to a 5 or 6, because what we're going to do is pre-cook the chicken just a little bit before we pop that in the oven. So we'll just put our chicken into our pan. Nice little sizzle sound going on there. There we go. Now you're going to cook that for about 4 minutes on each side. And Time for me to take off my orange Mickey Mouse hands. We'll get finished up with the rest of the dishes. For the citrus slaw we're making, we already have our slaw mix that we got from the bag inside the bowl. We'll add in our tablespoon of mayonnaise. We'll add in a full teaspoon of lime juice. We'll add in about half of our cilantro. There we go. And then 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Now again, this is going to be a nice citrusy refresher from the chicken and the rice spices that we're making. That cilantro smell is just coming right out as it gets mixed in with the olive oil and the lime juice. That easy. Now for the topper on the chicken, we're going to make some lime sour cream with a little touch of cilantro in there. So first up, we're grabbing a little bit of sour cream. Going to add in about a half teaspoon of lime juice, little bit of cilantro, and then we just whip that up. Now what this is going to do is add in a little bit of that cilantro for the flavor, but that lime is going to bring in the citrus. That goes really well with the Cuban chicken that we're making. There we go. Okay, we've already flipped our chicken once. That's what it's going to look like. Start to get a little bit of brown on the one side with the seasoning. And I'm going to wait for another 2 minutes or so on this side. We'll pop it on the tray that we've already foiled and oiled, and that'll go into that 425-degree oven for about 10 minutes. Time to get the chicken into the oven. This beautiful chicken breasts here. Drop that onto our pan. That'll go into the oven for about 10 minutes. When you set your timer, make sure you set it for 8 minutes, because that's when we're going to pull the chicken out of the oven, put a little bit of mayonnaise on it. We're going to then crust the chicken, put it back in the oven for those last 2 minutes, and that'll get the crust really nice and crispy with a little bit of tinge of brown on top. It's exactly what you want to see. Time to get our chicken out of the oven. There we go. That's looking really, really nice. Again, we're going to put a little bit of mayonnaise. Spread it around on there as best you can. I like using the back of the spoon so that way it doesn't dig into the meat at all. And then this is where we add our tortilla crust. We've crushed that up already. We just add it right up on top. It's okay if a little bit gets on the tray. Just pat that in a little bit. And then back into the oven for about 2 minutes. Don't put it in for much longer because that's going to start burning then. In that 2 minutes, let's finish up our rice. We've already put our rice into the microwave. Again, we cheated a little bit, but that's okay. I won't tell anybody if you don't. So we have our nice steamy hot rice there. We have our little can of beans. Add that in. Add in a little bit of garlic. Add in just a little bit of cumin. Some of that cilantro again. And for the lime, you're going to put about a teaspoon of lime in there. 1, 2. And then all you have to do is mix it up. And that cilantro smell is mixing really nicely with the cumin and the garlic. I know it's not traditional Cuban rice, but it's the best that I could do for right now. It gives you that same kind of taste without all the complications. Time to get that chicken out. It's been about 2 minutes. Are you ready to plate up? Okay, it's time to plate everything up, everybody. Again, we'll start with our chicken. Grab that on our plate here. Have our Cuban rice. There we go. Got our coleslaw on here. Adds a little color and citrusy to the mix there. Now for the salsa, we're going to add the salsa to the top of the rice. So it's got just a little bit of that mild salsa flavor up there. And we're going to add the lime sour cream right to the top of that crust. And there you have it. We have tortilla crusted Cuban chicken with some Cuban rice and salsa with some citrus slaw. I'm John. Thanks for watching Bike to Table. We'll see you next time. And remember, live to ride, ride to eat.